Hi, Jonathan Carr. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you? Wait,
Good.
Myrna or Myrna?
It's Myrna. Yeah,
Myrna. Okay.
yeah, like
I'm
frankincense and myrrh.
Myrna.
So it's so good to talk to you about what you're doing. I'm very inspired in a very Austin way. So you're a fellow Austinite.
I am. I am. I've been here longer than most, about 15 years or so.
Yeah, no, that matches me about 15. I'm a refugee from California, Silicon Valley.
Oh,
So they hated that about me. Every once in a while, in the first 2 years or so, people would look at me, "Are you from California?" And I had to confess that I was. They could spot me.
I mean, sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, hey, it looks like you're in a movie theater.
I am. I'm actually trying to sneak this podcast in real quick before I get my next flick in. So we can kind of hurry this along a little bit. No, I'm just kidding. I'm at like a workspace and I asked some for someplace private and they had like a movie theater screening room in the back. And so I'm just hanging out here by
Cool.
myself in a whole movie theater.
Yeah, that's really neat. So you're not actually in a movie right now. You're just found a quiet
No, no, they wouldn't put one on for me.
Okay, no worries. Well, we're going to talk today about vehicle reman and then some things that have kind of sprouted from your work with that. And, I say you're kind of having an Austin business because you work with fleets of trucks and you upcycle. You rehab those trucks so that the business owner doesn't necessarily have to, spend the money on a brand new truck.
Hmm.
So tell me a little bit about how that business came to be. You're the founder and CEO, so you were there on day one.
Yeah, so
Tell us how
I'm
that happened.
I'm gonna try and do this super quick because it could be a long story, but
Okay.
the short of it is I was trying to start the Hub Garage to get cars fixed for single moms.
Oh,
I
this is
went
the
to a guy.
nonprofit. We're going to talk about that.
That's right. Then I went to a guy. I was looking for anybody that would give me good advice and just direction. And so I went to this dude and I was like, "Yeah, I'm trying to do repairs for single moms." And he was like, "Man, I got into business like a while back with this guy and he was doing car repair for single moms." And I was like, "Okay, all right, I'm listening. Like I'll I probably ought to go talk to this guy." And
Mhm.
so I did, and we just hit it off. And it was kind of cool because I was ending my career at Christian Brothers, where I'd been for 25 years doing nothing but automotive.
Mhm.
And he brings this opportunity and says, "Hey man, I want some help. I want somebody to take this over for me."
Wow.
And so I'm like, "Oh, I get to be an entrepreneur again and put my automotive skills to work. And this is the biggest coincidence or God thing I know of, right?" And so I was like, "All right, man, let's see how we do."
Well, so I know you've had some big customers like FedEx, and I just want to understand a little bit about what is the size of like the vehicles with the company? Is it a fleet of five or a fleet of 50? And are they all the giant trucks like FedEx? Tell me who your clients are that take advantage of this, upcycling. And I know when we talked at the first time, you mentioned new FedEx truck could be $100,000. A remanufactured, or updated vehicle from you might be half that. Can you share a little bit about the
Yeah.
opportunity of doing this?
Yeah, absolutely. So our goal is to save you 50% off what it would cost you to buy new
Yeah.
and to re-equip. And as far as fleet size goes, it's not necessarily about fleet size as it is about the truck and what you're trying to get out of it.
Okay.
And what's already been done to it, right? And so, like, if it's profitable for one, it's going to be profitable for 100.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, so we just kind of evaluate it that way. And we really do anything from kind of the van version of Ford, Chevy, Dodge. So, right, the
Okay.
ProMaster, the Transit, the
Mhm.
Express, all
Mhm.
the way up to 850s. So like
Okay.
an F-850, etc. We do. We even do school buses and buses.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so the process is, I mean, the process is difficult to refine,
Mhm.
but once you do, you can apply it to a lot of different things. And so, yeah, our deal is it cost effective for the customer? are
Sure.
these parts from Toyota or Nissan or Isuzu so
Mhm.
expensive that this doesn't make sense anymore? If
Sure.
it makes financial sense, we want to do it.
There's a trend apart from kind of some economies scaling back and in a little bit of a downturn as we bring manufacturing back, all the stuff that's going on in the world. We don't make the parts here necessarily. We aren't making, they told me I think I bought a Jeep once and they said at least 10% of this is American made.
Hmm.
You know, somebody might have slapped it together outside Detroit or something, but the parts are from all over the world. And so as
Yeah,
we,
I felt so betrayed when I found out that like AC Delco just buys its parts from China and sticks them in an AC Delco box. Same with OEM type stuff, right? Like you
yes,
can buy something
yes,
from Ford
yes.
and they just bought it and put it in a box.
Well, and you think about Ford parts or dealer parts and the markup on those, and you realize it's the same stuff in a different box that I get at the automotive supply shop down the street.
Mhm.
So I think it's good to have an insider like you with, a couple of decades of experience, really give a custom answer to someone who says, here's the seven truck, save me
Yeah.
$1 million over 3 years, please, or whatever it is.
No,
Um,
you're exactly right. And I think a perfect example of that I like to tell our customers, right, is like, man, if you've got OEM ball joints that are 200 bucks
mhm,
and then you've got Moog ball joints that are $150,
mhm,
I'm going Moog every single time.
mhm,
I'm going to get the best part for the best price, and that's what we're going to put on the. Sometimes people ask about like, do we use used parts and stuff like that?
mhm,
They've had bad experiences with used engines and stuff, but no, we absolutely don't.
mhm,
But the only time we do would be, for example, like you've got a crazy long sway bar on some big old truck, and
mhm,
it's $1,200 to get a new one, and it's just literally a piece of metal.
mhm,
We can go to the junkyard and find that piece of metal for 50 bucks and
mhm,
pass that savings on to you. We're
mhm,
absolutely going to do it. But like mechanical components and things like that, not so
mhm.
much.
Well, no, that makes sense. And it also makes sense that, every fleet's going to be a little different. Are the repair records legit? And then you warranty, the life to some extent after. So they didn't buy a new truck with a new warranty. They upcycled their truck and they get a warranty from you. How does that work?
Yeah, it's actually better than almost all of the new vehicles get. So it's a 3 year, 100,000 miles on the engine transmission.
Mhm,
And we've got two more tiers
mhm,
below that. So we've got like a 12-month, 36,000 miles where everything is free replacement. And
mhm,
honestly, if it's something we should have caught and didn't,
mhm,
and we're still going to warranty it for you.
mhm.
Then after that, you've got the manufacturer's warranty. And the good thing about this is you can do any of these anywhere in the country at any shop you want.
Very good. Oh, that's so exciting. So they don't have to bring their trucks to Austin.
Absolutely not.
Oh, that makes so much sense. And so, well, so your motivation to do this business, apart from having a mechanical background for so many years, is that you could use some of the profit to fund this nonprofit, the Hub Garage. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of all wrapped together, right? Like that's another reason that I just became so attracted to this project is how easily you can fit like doing good into it,
Mhm.
right? So, for example, I've always been passionate about wanting to start vocational schools.
Okay.
Also trying to fix some single moms' cars, right?
Okay.
But what's cool is vehicle reman lends itself to like the most efficient teaching that's out there, which is
Sure.
by system, right? Let's
Yes.
do those brakes for 3 months until we know that we know that we know that we know how to do them, and
Hmm.
then we'll switch to suspension and etc.
Okay. Okay,
And
good.
so what I envision is having three levels of a school. So you've got beginner entry, you've got apprentice, and then you've got full on tech.
Hmm.
And so what we would do for the entry level is we would actually fix single moms' cars for their training. Because you can take your time a little bit more, right? The professor can be going in and just making sure everything's exactly.
Hmm.
There's not as much of like this pressure to get it out so it can get back and making money soon. Um,
Sure.
but yeah, that's kind of how
Well,
we.
those two communities serving each other is so remarkable.
Oh,
That's a
sorry, somebody
great,
just came in. Ah,
yeah. No, that's a great way to build an ecosystem. that
Ecosystem is a great word.
yeah, you have a clientele of single moms who maybe don't have the budget to repair a car. And then you have kids that need to learn. We somehow forgot that not everybody is college bound. I don't know how we forgot that. But,
Hmm.
there is a place for people to go into the trades. And I know as a coach that there are people that learn kinetically or visually or auditorily. All of us have some of that, but some people are really kinetic.
Hmm.
They need to take it apart and put it back together, take it apart and put it back together. And those people should be getting vocational training. Their happy place is in making stuff work.
Hmm.
And so that this could be married to what you're doing with vehicle reman sounds like a mix made in heaven.
Yeah, and it makes me happy just because like I've got, some pretty extensive learning disabilities that I school was not good for me. It just
Okay.
frustrated me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, being able to be a part of doing something like this when I wish I would have done it because I would have thrived back in the day, but I didn't. I just was mad. And then the other thing too, like it's so cool how many of my favorite parts just roll off of this one thing. Um, but this other really neat thing is we can hire the technicians that nobody else wants. And I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that we can do that is because of the nature of our business, right? So, like when I was at Christian Brothers, we got a guy that comes in, just, took a loan out to go to tech school, wants a job, and we're just like, man, I'm sorry, can't do it. You're going to leave a drain plug out. It's going to cost me 5 grand. It's
Mm-hmm.
happened 10 times before.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
they end up working at like a discount tire or a Meineke or something else where they're not doing car work. They're just
Right.
making ends meet.
Yeah, and it's just a retail job, really. So
Hmm.
there's no ladder, for achievement like the one that you're building with the three layers of, beginning, apprentice, master.
Yeah, you're
Mm-hmm.
you're exactly right. They just kind of have to fumble their way through it and hope that they get a job with a company that
Mm-hmm.
will be patient enough for them,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, so then what we're able to do is say, hey, come work with us. Nobody wants you. Goodyear doesn't want you. Christian Brothers doesn't want you,
Mm-hmm.
right? You just paid a ton of money because you love turning wrenches.
Mm-hmm.
Turn wrenches with us. Stop doing state inspections. And
Yeah,
we get to bring them on, and
yeah,
without changing our workflow, we
yes.
get to train them, do good for single moms, and have a great business.
Well, and single moms cut corners, and then they still have to get the kids to soccer practice or off to school. And so their cars are safer if your people work on them
Hmm.
because they can take the time. It's a learning experience, and someone with more experience is giving it the once over, and they don't pay for it. And so they don't have to be without a car. It's really just a really beautiful way that things are all working together. So you worked in some nonprofits before and you really have a heart for the nonprofit world, which is so true about Austin. We're very community oriented here. So this is a really great story, Jonathan, what you're
Oh,
doing.
thank you so much.
Yeah. So how do people get a hold of you if they have some vehicles and they think, I like this idea about saving money. I've got on the horizon, I'm going to need to reinvest in some of these vehicles to keep our business running. What's the best way to get a hold of you?
It's either Jonathan at vehiclereman.com, no
Mhm,
H in John,
mhm,
Jonathan, or they can just call or text me at 512-503-0865. Then there's also, vehiclereman.com. You can
mhm,
check that out. But what we really tell our, potential customers is we may not be the best fit for you,
mhm.
but let us put a price together and then you'll know for certain,
Yes.
right? Because
Yeah.
if it is a good fit, it's a good fit times however many trucks you've got.
Well, and
And
I would think it might be that, okay, two of these are too far gone. So I know I'm going to have to buy two. But three of these we might be able to, remanufacture. We might be able to upcycle. And so that gives me maybe 6 more years on the whole fleet.
Mhm.
And I'm only really out the big price of two new trucks. And so everyone is in a different situation. We see vehicle accidents and happen up and down the NAFTA highway. I don't know if they call it that anymore, Highway 35.
Oh, I haven't called it that. I know
Yeah,
35 too well.
yeah, Mexico to Canada and back. The trucks that are in service today, they have hard roads to drive on.
Hmm.
Potholes that haven't been repaired, bridges with questionable, stability. It's rough out there. So the fact that if there was a challenge with a fleet, that they could start with you and say, what could you do for us? And then make a good decision for their business, knowing that a percentage of that income is going to go into the Hub Garage nonprofit, help with a vocational experience, help single moms keep a car running. Man, this is a really, really nice setup that you've got going.
Yeah. We just want to do more of it.
Yeah, very good. Well, I want to help you do more of it. So,
Oh, thanks.
Jonathan Carr will send people to your websites and also to LinkedIn. Thank you so much for joining
Thanks,
us
Myrna.
here today. Yeah.
I
Now, way
appreciate
to
you having me.
go. Way to go, Austin.
Hey, great movie. Yeah, I gotta get back to that movie.
Okay, we'll see you next time.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.